Hello, and welcome to Minisode 34.
Yeah, you just sound so excited all the time.
Wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah, today we're talking about SW9.
Whoa.
SW9, which sounds like some kind of secret mission, or like James Bond type thing, like 007.
Yeah. So explain to people what it is.
Well, I was going to ask you to explain some things to me because I don't really get... Like, I know what it is. So basically, it's at Alton Towers. When they get a new big project or ride, they call it Secret Weapon, whatever number it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like their code name for their new thing because they
Yeah.
haven't named it yet or revealed what it is.
Yeah.
But when did it actually start? When did they start with one, like at the beginning of their time or what?
So they started with one. So it was when John Wardley was at Alton Towers at the start of like the 1990s. He wanted to build a new ride and put it where Nemesis is, right? So he was looking at all these different concepts, and the first idea he had was to use this new Arrow pipeline coaster, which basically you sat in between the rails.
Oh.
And you would kind of, if you were to say roll, 180 degrees,
Yeah.
you would roll in the middle of the rails. So it would kind of just be you wouldn't flip, you would just rotate.
Oh.
And because the trains look like bullets, the whole kind of project was called Secret Weapon.
Because just Secret Weapon.
Yeah, because it looked like a bullet.
Okay.
And he was thinking, this could be the theme, we make it like a secret facility.
Mm-hmm.
So then he went and rode it, and it was garbage.
Of course.
So he didn't build one.
Mm-hmm.
So then he was thinking of building a massive Schwarzkopf family coaster like Liesberg Banan.
Mm-hmm. Also disgusting.
One which would dual itself, like the Smiler, with 2 lift hills.
Okay.
And then he just wasn't happy with the idea, and that was called Secret Weapon 2.
Oh.
Yeah. And then...
You can't do that. He didn't build the first one. That's really weird.
And then he asked his buddy who was at Six Flags, what you're working on, and they were working on with B&M on the inverted coaster in 1992, and he was like, "Oh, can I have this?" And then they were like, "Oh, I'll speak to B&M," and then John was like, "B&M, can I have this?" And they were like, "Sure." Well, the agreement apparently was that Six Flags would loan John this coaster because it was brand new, hot off the press. In return, that they would reciprocate the deal if John ever developed something.
Okay.
That they would give it to Six Flags. So then, obviously, they got the inverted coaster in 1994, and then when Galactica opened, the world's first B&M flying coaster, they opened one in Six Flags the same year.
Right.
So
little deals were going on.
Yeah.
So Nemesis was Secret Weapon 3.
Yeah. Yeah, so Secret Weapon 3, Oblivion was Secret Weapon 4. Air and now Galactica Secret Weapon 5. Then 13 was Secret Weapon 6.
Rita.
Smiler, Secret Weapon 7. Wicker Man, Secret Weapon 8. Now we're on Secret
Where's
Weapon 9.
Rita then?
Wasn't a secret weapon.
It's not good enough to be a secret weapon.
It wasn't built by John.
Oh.
So there was this period of time between kind of 2 eras. There was the Two Swords era, which was kind of most of the early days of Alton Towers with Nemesis and Oblivion and Galactica. And then Two Swords got bought out by this company who didn't really do much, but they put in Rita, just a quick addition.
Right.
So there wasn't any major development going on there.
They just shoved it in.
They shoved it in, right? And that was in 2005. And then in 2007,
They brought back John. They were like, please, can you help us?
Well, in 2007, I think Merlin bought... It was then owned by Merlin.
Yeah.
And then they brought back John.
Right.
Merlin brought back John. It was like, help again.
Yeah.
So then with 13 in 2010, they used the Secret Weapon code name again.
That's very annoying, though, that the first 2 weren't even built.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just stay with, like, this is still Secret Weapon, like, it's still the same project?
Because I guess he didn't anticipate to use that code name
For every single one.
Yeah, but then he did. So.
Yeah.
But
yeah, originally I guess it was like a version of Secret Weapon, like 1, 2, 3.
most of the new rides have SW somewhere around them. So I think Oblivion has SW4 on one of the supports.
Oh, really?
And Smiler has SW7 written somewhere. So I don't know about
cool.
Wicker or 13. I imagine they do, perhaps, but meh. So yeah, so we're on Secret Weapon 9, which, no one knows anything about.
No, we obviously don't know when it will happen, when the next big thing is going to come, but we can speculate. That's what everybody loves to do, so...
I mean, Wicker Man was 2 years ago. It was 5 years from Wicker Man, well, from Smiler to Wicker Man. Obviously, the Smiler accident happened, so that probably delayed things. And now COVID's happened, so that's probably delayed things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could be reasonable to say another 5 years, if we did say another 5 years. Take us to 2023. And Smiler plans came out, Wicker Man plans came out about 2 years before it opened.
Yeah. So we could be hearing about something next year, perhaps, in the pipelines.
Perhaps next April. That would be in time with the Wicker Man kind of pipeline. But with everything going on, probably not. Don't know.
They want to save their money, I guess.
Yeah. It depends. Depends on how well the park's doing and whether they want to invest in it.
Okay, so what do you think it's going to be then?
Well, what do you think it's going to be? What would you want?
What do I want it to be, or what do I think it's going to be?
What do you want it to be?
I don't know, because it's tricky, because I don't think they need anything big. Like, if I was to invest in Thorpe Park, in Alton Towers, I'd give them flat rides. Like, I think the way it's set up right now is very good. Wicker Man's still quite fresh to everyone. So I think they desperately need flats or something that's not a big roller coaster. Because also I think none of them are at the stage where you could reasonably pull them out and replace them, unless you start talking about like Rita.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You could just rip out something, which is what some parks do, like Leesburg, even if it's not even that old yet, or everybody still loves it and it's iconic. They'll just be like, cool, bye.
Leesburg don't have a lot of space though. I feel like Towers.
But neither does Towers, really.
Kind of, but no, yeah, it depends.
But also another thing is, like, they don't have any water rides anymore, except for the rapids.
And Battle Galleons.
Yeah, but that's just too much. That's like Tidal Wave. That's another level of, like, wet.
I as much as I appreciate this comment, like the water rides comment, like, do we care? Like, how often do you really ride water rides in UK weather? The few days it's sunny. But
if that's a reasonable comment when it's okay, like for instance, when we went to Potton's Park, it was like it wasn't a sunny day, it wasn't cold. They had a log flume there, but it was like stock. But what my point is that if the log flume at Polton's was something like Cheer Pass, I would have gone on it,
sure.
Because it's interesting and fun and has a thrill element to it.
So then my point would be you would have rode it once.
But also the thing of the splashes need to be small splashes.
Well, yeah.
So you have the illusion of like it's a very different ride. You're in the water, but you don't actually get soaked.
I mean, what you want is a variable trough where you can adjust how wet people get.
Yeah, because even something like Valhalla is awful. Like in terms of it's very old and dated, but it's interesting. But you just get way too wet for you to want to go on it. So I don't know why they keep making these rides that are so...
Don't keep making them.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's what I mean. But when I say it could do with a water ride, I don't mean the kind that are already out there. I mean like build it with...
the fact in mind.
Yeah, that we're in England. So we don't want to be soaking wet like Tidal Wave.
I don't know. I like water rides, but I also don't. Most of the water, like log flumes, are just a faff, because you always end up getting wet in places you don't want to get wet. Like your feet. Your feet. I don't think there is a single water ride out there that isn't a rapids that I'm not worried about my feet getting wet. And Cheer Pass is an absolute terror for it. That is like a really nice ride, completely ruined by the ride system. The log flume boats are awful, absolutely terrible. Why on earth do you have this massive cumbersome restraint which pins you in, awful, and then your feet get soaked. Or
Yeah.
if you only bit of me that was wet.
But that's what I mean. We need to like reimagine a water ride.
Yeah.
But what about like at Gardaland that one that's like a coaster?
Atlantide or
Yeah.
something, yeah. Yeah, sure. Water coasters are a thing. They're just a bit expensive and like cumbersome. I
just
feel.
think they're so cool. And they look very different, like the landscape when there's all water everywhere.
It's just a bit, yeah. I think water coasters are just a bit pointless.
Okay.
You know, you might as well have a log flume. I don't need a roller coaster section. I just want a big drop. You know.
I don't know. Anyway, just a passing comment. Perhaps something related to water.
I mean, yeah,
I'm just trying to, find gaps in what they already have because we don't want to repeat stuff.
Yeah, people rate that. So yeah, okay. So that's what you'd want. What do you think they're gonna get?
I don't know, because the thing with them is they have one of everything already, except like a giga, but they're obviously not going to be able to do that.
Never get anything to do with height, will they?
Exactly. So what don't they have? They have a launch coaster. They have a dive coaster. They have an inverted coaster. They have a flying coaster. They have the Smiler.
An inversion-based
and a wooden coaster.
Yeah.
They got it down.
They got most of the ride types down.
It's very difficult now.
Yeah.
Which is why I think a water coaster, just because it is very different from what they already have, and people go like crazy for it. But then it's where do you put it? What do you take out? I don't know.
How do you make it interesting and not just kind of there?
Yeah.
Don't know.
What do you think then?
I mean, I'll start off with what I would like.
Yeah.
Like many people, I would like an intimate multi-launch coaster.
What's that?
Taron.
Oh.
But not Taron, because...
But let's make Helix. But
Not-
in towers. Yeah.
No, not Helix. Helix is good, but I'd rather have an intimate launch coaster than a Mac launch coaster.
With the powerful launches.
Exactly. And the more intense layout. I want Taron, but with...
Helix's layout.
Yes. Because
That would be king.
I vibe with Helix's layout.
Yeah.
You know,
But you need a hill. You can't be doing that without a hill.
Towers has enough terrain to use.
Okay, so where are you going to put it?
I don't know. And this is where it comes down.
Take out Nemesis and put it in
God,
there.
yeah, can you imagine? I think if you took out something like Galactica, there's quite a lot of terrain there, going up and then down. Just think of how much that landscape kind of goes down.
Yeah, the queue's like right on a hill, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to play with, and it's a massive area. So you could take out Galactica. You know, obviously you could take out Rita. And in an ideal world, I would love for them to take out Rita because it's so big, cumbersome, and ruins the area completely. Then build a new roller coaster.
With launches still.
Yeah,
So you're not losing the launch coaster.
Yeah, so you're upgrading, like
Yeah.
Leesburg does. You're taking out old and putting in something new of the same type. But then you can make Dark Forest much more of an open plaza. You know, build the roller coaster so it's half like 13 where you can't see anything, which is good, but also bad. I don't like that it's all hidden.
Yeah.
Half and half. Half hidden, half on show. You can even have it interact with 13. And it's a bit terrainy back there, not overly, but it's still in the woods as well, so it can be quite interesting. Especially, yeah, if you're whipping in between 13, say, it'd be quite cool. And yeah, I don't know, I think that would suit it.
And you could do a retheme of that whole area to make it more.
Well, you'd build the new Intamin multi-launch coaster with a similar theme to 13.
Spooky woods.
Yeah, so it all fits this time.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Ideally, I would have them tear everything down in the Dark Forest but 13. You know, you could even probably get rid of like most of the 13's queue to rework it now and just do it again.
Yeah.
Because it's garbage. It's hot garbage.
It is.
It needs...
It's very like thrown together at the last second. They didn't really...
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they thought about it because it's just not really an area.
No, it's too small now. I mean, ever since the launch cable of Rita snapped in like 2012 or whatever, and they built that tunnel, the area's become a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And that kind of ruined it completely. It was a lot more open than before, and it felt better. But that would be my ideal. What do I think they'll do? I don't know. Honestly, it's difficult because you're right. They've got most ride types. I mean, if we look at other Merlin parks, let's say, what else do they have? Wing coaster, but they won't ever get a wing coaster because there's not enough space.
Yeah.
They're massive rides, and Towers obviously isn't that big, and they need to be tall, and you know, because they lose energy real fast. Dive coaster's already got one,
What about a kiddie coaster?
but it's not a big investment, though, is it? You mean a family coaster?
Yeah.
But that's what Wicker Man was.
I suppose.
I mean, I'm all for them building more family coasters, as long as they don't remove a thrill for it. You know, if they're building something new in a new area, then yeah, sure, make it a family coaster again.
Yeah. It's hard because it's not a park where there's an obvious gap. So it's very hard to predict what they could do because there's so many things they could do. Because there's no obvious one.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of like, what should we do? Just take your pick now.
I think a launch would be good. Another launch coaster. I mean, there's so many parks out there that have multiple launch coasters now. And launch coasters are just interesting to sell anyway because they're, they've got that extra thing going for them.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see in a minute when we read some of the comments about what people have said, but there's many different locations you could put a launch coaster. Rita Site, Galactica, and then people say, rip out the rapids and put it in the trough of the rapids, which would be cool. There's a lot of terrain over there, make for a hell of an interesting area.
Other people might say the bit where Spinball is, I think.
There's nothing to do there, it's so small.
Yeah, but you'd have to take Spinball out.
Yeah, and I don't think they're allowed to build that much. I think Spinball was kind of like put in, and then it was like the council afterwards were like, oh, hold on a minute, this is pretty close to the borders. Yeah, so I don't think they could do much. And it's prime CVV's expansion, probably, in it, so. And it wouldn't fit. Nothing fits in that area. It's just its own area.
A path, innit?
What's the point? Anyway, yeah, let's have a look at some people's thoughts. I think we're going to hear a lot of intimate blitzes, let's be honest.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. We'll start with Joel.
Number 2 fan.
Joel says, okay, this is a massive pipe dream, but I'd love to see the Cross Valley Woody idea be brought back as a massive new Gravity Group coaster. Something like the Voyage, but built for the Alton Towers terrain. It'd be a great thrill wooden coaster to contrast Wicker Man.
So another Woody.
So like in 2000 and something, John Wardley came up with this idea to build a wooden roller coaster in between Forbidden Valley and Dark Forest.
Okay.
So in between Nemesis area and 13 and Rita. Through the valley. So it goes up one side, then drops into the valley, up the other side, then does a bit, and then goes back down and up.
That would be absolutely mental.
Yeah, it would be, because the valley's really deep.
Yeah.
So you'd end up having like nearly hypercoaster level drops.
Oh my god.
The problem is, it's a complete like two-trick pony. Because his layout, right, did nothing, then it dropped off in, and that was obviously cool, that going all the way down, all the way back up. Yeah. Then it did barely anything on the other side, because obviously it got no speed at this point. And then it comes back at nice, another massive dropping up. That's it. I don't know. It's
like skateboarding.
What?
On a ramp.
Right.
That's all you can do unless you do a little trick as you go up.
I don't know. I just don't feel it's very interesting. It would make for 2 massive cool drops, but that'd be it. Yeah. They've already got a one-trick drop coaster thing. Yeah. Oblivion, what's the point?
It's a cool idea, but I don't know.
Cool idea, but...
Tom has said exactly what you said. Intamin Blitz to replace Rita and a retheme of Dark Forest. Either that or a Giga RMC theme to Raj's Bouncy Bomber. What is that?
It's the new, kiddie frog hopper that's come into...
Chessington?
No. Towers and the new area, David Walliams.
Oh, the David Walliams thing. A Giga RMC.
No.
No.
Andrew says, a modern launched coaster from the likes of Mack or Vekoma with lap bars, fast-paced transitions, strong pops of airtime, maybe an inversion or 2. I don't think Towers currently have anything like this in their lineup. They don't.
Zomboss says, family indoor launch coaster. That's something we haven't really talked about, is doing something actually inside. You're not feeling that?
I'm not feeling indoor coasters. They're lazy.
Yeah, but it could be done well.
Yeah, but then you've got to build a massive shed.
Yeah.
Where are they going to build a massive shed?
Well, not necessarily. They could actually do a good building. Like a themed building.
Yeah, no. But what you do is, you build a facade and then build a shed in the background.
Yeah.
Like Jewel.
Yeah.
It's got that little nice house and then a massive warehouse that you can't see in the background. Yeah. But you got to build a massive warehouse. And they've already got...
Yeah, and there's not enough space
13 is pretty much a launched family coaster. Yeah. Nearly, anyway. So... Don't know. I like the idea, but I don't think it adds much value. As he says, I think in place of Rita, it'd be great if Towers got an intimate hot racer. It could be themed to racing souls or spirits, and then it would properly fit into Dark Forest. Also, the trains are so light into it could make the launches as intense as Rita's. And then he says Merlin like their world's first, and it could be some world's first speed record on that. So the Hot Racer is a rip-off of RMC's single rail coaster, the Raptor, right? Where you seat in like inline seating, so one behind the other, on a single rail that kind of whips around places. It's a unique ride type, but with an awful capacity.
Also, I feel like towers don't really go for like unique things or like crazy. No, but all their rides are quite like.
Yeah, but they are now.
Oh, so you think they invent things or not invent
Well, they
things,
did.
But like they
when John
make
was
things
around,
popular.
But they did. Well, they had Europe's first inverted coaster, Nemesis, the world's first dive coaster, B&M's first flying coaster, the
So
world's
you
first
think
drop track
they could make
roller
this
coaster,
hot
the
whatever.
world's most inverting roller coaster.
Yeah, but they're all like standard things. But
no, standard, but still different.
Yeah, but you think the next big thing is going to be these hot whatever?
No, hell no.
That's what I mean. So why would they get it if it's not going to be a big thing?
Towers are always very keen on capacity. They're very shy to build rides.
Well, rightly so, yeah.
With like less than 1,000 riders per hour. I think Wickerman's like 960. And they try not to go anywhere lower than that. You know, Wickerman has 3 trains.
Yeah.
Most parks wouldn't opt to put 3 trains on that ride. There are GCI coasters out there bigger than Wickerman that run 2 trains.
Yeah.
You know, so
maybe not then.
Don't think so. I think it's never. I don't think they'd even consider it.
Chris from our last episode says, "Get rid of rapids, turn Catania Canyon into the second coming of Klugheim, and build an Intamin Blitz in there. It's a large area which isn't utilised to its absolute potential." Interesting location choice.
It is. It really could work in terms of there's a lot of interesting terrain and, you know, whipping in and out of the kind of rapid trough.
Yeah.
Would be nice. It would be cool.
Yeah.
And you could have it kind of surround the area, you know, because there's in Catania Canyon, there's kind of like that middle plaza, and then you kind of have to go in and out of it.
Yeah.
You go all the way around.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I don't know though. I don't.
It feels a bit too like.
Doesn't feel like it would fit, but maybe
it just feels a bit too much work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it'd take a lot to take out of rapids and do all of that, but it'd be cool.
My thought would be: is that plaza big enough
for a new ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
It's very difficult, you know.
It is.
Glad we're not doing it.
And this is it. I'm honestly, in my humble opinion, the most potential of a site that already exists to reuse is Galactica by far.
Yeah.
Because there's so much space being not really being utilized over there. You've got such an interesting bit of terrain.
Yeah.
You could really expand. You've even got the car park to expand it into if you want to.
Yeah.
And you could even set it up for further expansion.
And also,
beyond.
they obviously already think that it's a bit of a like rubbish or like
exactly
uninteresting ride if they rethemed it and added VR.
Well, it was. I mean, people forget that prior to having VR, no one rode it.
Cared about it.
I remember riding it like loads because you go to Alton Towers.
It would be dead.
And most of the day, it would Nemesis and Galactica would be 5 minutes and 10 minutes always. Back in the day. You know, it's only now that I think it's kind of revitalized the popularity.
Yeah, but I think people think it's changed, but it's only the theming that's changed.
Well, I guess it's worked, hasn't it? So
yeah. But
no, it's not that old, 18 years, but I imagine it's
old
bit
enough.
A bit of a pain to run. It's a unique coaster, but not that interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame because it's at the moment it's like Europe's only proper flying coaster until Fly opens. But hey ho, don't know. We'll see. Who knows? As you said, Towers is such a kind of established park with so many different ride types that it's very difficult to guess what they might get.
Yeah.
Wickerman was an obvious choice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A wooden coaster, perfect choice for that park. Now
they're done.